Merrill Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.
Matthew, can you tell me first of all, Regional Cities is pushing for the federal government to help local councils out, I believe, in regard to infrastructure delivery. Can you tell me a bit about this?
And this is as much regional cities as it is regional capitals. There's two different organisations here, and one is focused on the state and one's focused on the nation. And obviously we deal with the federal government from a regional capitals perspective. One of the things that's been quite problematic, if you look at roads in particular, but infrastructure in general, the cost of construction has gone up dramatically. And there's a whole range of reasons for that. One of the reasons for roads in particular is obviously we've had so much damage to our roads across the eastern seaboard that there is more demand on the materials, more demand on crews to actually do the work. So not only is that causing a problem on the eastern seaboard, but for councils across other parts of the nation, even though they may not have been affected by the same weather patterns that we saw on the eastern seaboard, they're being impacted by the fact that there's this huge demand on road crews, huge demands on that construction. So the data that we've been able to analyse shows that the cost of construction, not just roads, but cost of construction overall, has gone up by 24% over the last 12 months. So when we talk about inflation being high, inflation for construction is going up ridiculously. So budgets that we might have had, that councils might have had, even funding that we might have received from the federal government for various projects, for example, then that suddenly blows that out of the water, and we can't do the same projects that we put funding in for because of that blowout in costs. So we're saying to the federal government, councils need some help with some of those projects that are in train, some of those projects that are already federally funded. We might need some additional help to be able to deliver on those. We've also got this shortage of skilled workers across the whole area with that construction work. Our estimation is that over the next year, there is a shortage of approximately 214,000 workers in various construction jobs. So that makes it difficult as well. That again puts more pressure on prices because you've got that high demand for employees, which means that they can charge more for their skilled labour.
So in summary, we're wanting the federal government to step in here, is that correct?
We're asking for the federal government to allocate some more funds to councils, in addition to the funds they've already allocated, because we just can't deliver the projects that we've received funding for and deliver the same project because of things that are completely outside council's control.
Now, you did mention that part of this problem is a worker shortage that we're facing out in regional New South Wales. And I believe regional cities are launching a new campaign to try and attract workers out here?
You're exactly right. And this is part of our election platform from Regional Cities New South Wales. And this is really focused on the New South Wales government now to try and help out various regional cities. We know that we've got huge demand for employees out here in regional cities. But a lot of the problem is that people in metro areas, for example, aren't really aware of the opportunities that exist. Typically, we find that regional cities across the state have got about 1% better unemployment rates, lower unemployment rates, than you have in the state average. So there is obviously a demand for employees there. When you talk to employers, they keep talking about a lack of skilled workers, a lack of employees in general. We see that regional job vacancies have now tipped over 80,000 advertised roles across all of regional New South Wales. So there's this huge amount of potential there for regional cities to really explode. But we just need some help from the state government to advertise some of these positions, to actually let people know about them. There's also the potential for visas, to have some sort of process where people that move from overseas often think of Australia as the Opera House or the Harbour Bridge, but they don't realise we've got these thriving regional cities that they could move to and slot straight into. And we know in Dubbo in particular, we've got 18.6% of our population comes from outside Australia that were born overseas, and they fit straight into our community. We love the different multicultural aspect that gives our community. So people in regional areas are ready to accept people from overseas, accept people from Sydney. We just need some of those skilled workers, and it's really inhibiting growth of a lot of those businesses now.
No, well, that's very true. So what's the plan with the campaign? Are you thinking billboards? Are you thinking radio? How are we going to reach these people?
We've got quite a sophisticated campaign that was built up over many years with the Evo Cities campaign. Evo Cities started off with 7 regional cities across New South Wales. Regional Cities New South Wales has now expanded that to 15 cities. So we learned a lot about how to attract people, and a lot of it is education. A lot of people in Sydney, for example, aren't aware that you've got these thriving regional cities. They still think of going over the Blue Mountains means you're going bush. They don't realise that you can get a cappuccino down the main street of a regional city. You can go to the cinema. You've got art shows. You've got Archibald exhibitions. You've got a whole range of different facilities that you do have in Sydney, but you've just got it in regional locations. So we have got this whole campaign that's planned and mapped out. All we need is the money to be able to implement that campaign. Regional cities have put that money in themselves over many years and will continue to do that. But really, to get that effective cut through in that metropolitan market, one of the ways we need to do that is some extra money from the state government.
Okay, so if you get the extra money, you can launch the campaign, and then the idea, obviously, is that money will flow back to the regions.
The money, people will flow to regions, and we think it'll help solve some of the problems that the state government has got in Sydney. When you've just got this exploding population in Sydney, they're having to build more tunnels, more housing, more transport, more infrastructure. That all puts a lot of pressure on the state budget. We believe we can solve some of the problems for the state government by not having all that pressure on the infrastructure and people somewhere to live for people in Sydney. We believe we can solve that problem by moving some of these people out to regional cities.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Mero Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.